right, I'm gonna put you right over there. Hopefully that looks okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. My name is Ralli Roots, and I'm 1/3 of an online reseller team. We take stuff. If you're new to the channel, I'm just going to explain this really quick. So we take stuff and we buy it for one price, and then we mark it up and we sell it online for a profit. That's how we make money. That's how we make a full-time income. We've been doing it for over 8 years now. We've sold millions of dollars online. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into that. You can go and watch some of our other videos if you'd like to. This series is a series that I've been calling Car Chronicles. I believe this is episode number 6. I'll link the rest of them down below, but basically this is kind of like a diary for me. When I'm going on a long drive, from our house to our warehouse is about a 40-minute drive. So it's kind of like, instead of listening to a podcast or music or doing nothing, I can turn on my diary and just kind of chat with you guys for a bit on something. Sometimes I'll talk about reselling stuff, but most of the time I just want to talk about off-topic type stuff. And in today's video, I want to talk about college, university, for those of you overseas. So, and listen, I'm sure that this video is probably going to piss off half of the people watching it, and then the other half, everyone has, differing opinions on the subject. But I feel like sometimes it's cool to talk about something that's a bit controversial, just to keep an open mind. Just to preface this, by the way, I am not college educated. My wife Allison is. She has a 4-year college degree. I am not college educated. I went straight out of high school into sales. Kind of cut my teeth doing that, and then went straight into starting businesses. So I have not been to college. I have not been to university. So really, I don't know if I get a say in this, but I'm making this video kind of to hear from you guys too. So, I'm one of those people that it's taken me a while to get to this point, but I try not to think that I know everything, and I try to keep an open mind to also changing my opinions on stuff. I do it all the time. My opinions will change daily depending on the information that I get, which I think that's the healthy way to be mentally, right? Anyway, with all that being said, the title of this video is probably going to be something clickbaity, like, is college a scam? So that's what I want to talk about today. And I think it does pertain to reselling a little bit, because I feel like most resellers who watch this channel are either not formally educated. They may have, like a high school diploma or equivalent or whatever, but I feel like most of the people watching our channel are either doing this as like a side hustle along with their job, or they don't really have college education. But I think there's also, like, if you look at the demographic of people who watch our channel, there are a lot of younger people watching our channel too. And I think that for those people, they're looking for an answer to, what do I do? Do I go to college, or do I do something that's not traditional in a different way to make money? So that's what I want to talk about. We all have different experiences with things. We all have different opinions. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you my opinion on college. Allie has her own opinion, and again, she's an educated woman. She has a higher education than I do. And if you asked Allie what she thinks about college, she would probably say college is a scam. But that's just based on her, her own experience. And she didn't have a bad experience with college. She doesn't have any student loans. She actually did. I feel like Allie did college the right way, where she's a very hard worker. She had a job while she was in college. She had scholarships while she was in college. And when she graduated with her degree, she did it with very, very minimal loans that she paid off very, very quickly afterwards. So she got her degree with basically without debt, which is, I think that's the right way. If you are going to do college, I think that's probably the right way to do it. But here's my opinion to kind of kick things off. So I think that if you need a specialized degree, I think college is great. If you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a scientist, there's things like that obviously could you learn on, online? Could you go on YouTube and learn a bunch of stuff? Probably. But there's certain things like, again, if you want to be a doctor or a surgeon or something like that, really, really difficult to learn that stuff without, being in the field. In the same way, like, you could think you're a really good reseller by watching YouTube videos and picking up all these, bolos and, think that you could be a good reseller. But until you actually do it and start looking for stuff and start managing your money, it's a completely different story. And listen, I am not comparing myself to a doctor. Don't get me wrong. I am just a reseller. I'm nowhere close to a doctor. But I just want to give you like the comparison. So again, in my opinion, these are just opinions, guys. In my opinion, I feel like the only reason for someone to go to school, outside of high school, obviously, but would be to go into one of those fields that really does require education. You need a degree to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, blah, blah, blah. If you're just going to school for, let's say business, for example. Now, even though I didn't go to college, a lot of my friends went to college, and a lot of my friends went to college for business degrees, business associates, business diplomas. They went to even master's degrees. And even though I wasn't in school, I did go to college campuses a few times, and I attended some college classes. I don't know if I was supposed to, but I went into a few of these classes with my friends just to see what it was like. And the craziest thing, I noticed one of the craziest things, right? The professors that were teaching these classes, these business classes, the vast majority of them, probably close to 100% of them, had never actually owned a business. And I found that insane, that they were teaching people how to run a business when they themselves have never run a business before. I thought that was insane. So to me, as someone who, like, from the get-go, going through high school, even when I went and talked to my guidance counselor, I told him from the get-go, I'm not going to college. I'm going to graduate from high school and I'm going to go straight into business. That's what I wanted to do. And I didn't have bad grades. I think I graduated with like a 3.6 GPA, something like that. I did fine on the SATs. I took the SATs. I did okay. I definitely could have gone to college. I could have qualified for scholarships, at least for, like the 75% Brett Futures or whatever it was at the time. Anyway, I could have gone to college. I chose not to. It was a decision that I made to not go to college. But I only made that decision because I knew I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to make money. That's really what I wanted to do. And after looking at everything, I decided that I could do that without a college degree. And for me, that was the best decision that I personally made, because after I graduated high school at 18 years old, again, I went into sales, which was a difficult thing to do. I did door-to-door sales. Tough, really, really tough. But a good way to cut your teeth if you're young, to, jump into a field like that. I was able to make a little money, lost a lot of money, learned a lot of things. But here's the cool thing. By the time that my friends were graduating from college with their 4-year degree, I had been in the field working for 4 years already. I had real practical knowledge, and when they were graduating with student loans and looking for a job, I was already 4 years practical sales business, more experienced than them, and I had no debt, and I had a little bit of money in the bank. So again, if you're going into business, my opinion, if what you're trying to do is start a business, I just don't think that going to college is the right thing to do. And if you look at like the most successful business owners out there, I'm not saying that this is going to happen for everybody, but if you look at them, like the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, most of them dropped out of college because you don't really need a formal degree to go and start a business. You can hire people with degrees. That's always good to have smarter people around you. I try to do that, keep smarter people around me so I can learn from them. But you don't really need a college degree to own a business. So that's the first thing. The next thing that I've noticed is it's 2024, and there's a lot of like new studies that have been done about college and the success rate of people graduating from college and how much money they're making, and are they even staying in their fields. I've been trying to do like more research on this, look at actual studies on what's happening right now with college. And one thing that I've noticed as well is that the cost of going to college, of attending university, has gone up dramatically from when I was able to go to college, which was you see, I graduated high school in 2006, so 18 years ago, which is insane. My 20-year high school reunion is coming up. Don't remind me. But yeah, so the price of college has increased quite a bit. And then also, like, there's a lot of really, really big studies coming out on how much money. So it used to be when we were in high school, it was always taught to us, if you graduate high school, this is how much money you make. And if you go to college and further your education, you're always going to make this much money more than just a high school graduate. And that was just based on, like all the numbers across the board averaged out. But there's recent studies that have come out. I'll try to link the paper or whatever, the study, down below, but it seems like it's a pretty big study. And from what I could tell from this study, it looks like when they're averaging out 10 years after graduating college and then just having, your high school education, from what I saw, it seems like the income is actually evened out, or actually even a little bit less. So like if you're just graduating high school and you're going into a position that doesn't require a college degree, and you do that for 10 years, or you go to college and then you do that for 10 years, by the end of that 10 years, the incomes, just based on like advancements in the companies and raises and all that good stuff, the incomes are actually pretty even out. But the difference is this person, the person who went to college, typically has loans and debt that they're carrying along with what they're doing as well. So the debt to income ratio is actually kind of skewed in favor of the person who didn't go to college, which I feel like is a new thing, and maybe that's because college is so expensive now. But I found that really, really interesting. Anyway, I just pulled up to a Goodwill store, so this is my job. I'm gonna go run into this thrift store, see if I can find some stuff, and then we'll continue this conversation. I still have another like half an hour to get to work, and I will turn the camera back on and continue this conversation in just a little bit. 30 minutes later at that Goodwill, and I found nothing. Stay in school, kids. Just kidding. Yeah, no, I didn't find anything though, but that's okay. That's how it goes. A lot of the time, that's how it goes. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, we're talking about college. So one thing that I want to say as well is we are full-time resellers. That's what we do. This video is not to try to convince people to become full-time resellers. I think that being a full-time reseller is the wrong idea for 99% of people out there. I think there's 1% of us that can deal with it. It's a lot of work. It's more hours than people will tell you to think if you're just watching YouTube videos and seeing like small snippets of people's lives as resellers. We're guilty of it too. We're showing you highlights of our lives. We're showing you like the cool things we find and how much money we make sometimes flipping something from $1 into $100, and it can seem real sexy, when it's all edited nicely and put together. But again, for 99% of people, being a full-time reseller doesn't make sense. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If all you're doing is going to thrift stores and yard sales and sourcing items one at a time, it is very, very difficult to make a full-time income doing that. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. It's very possible, actually. I know people who do it, but it's very taxing mentally. It kind of takes the fun out of what you're doing. If you like to source stuff and go treasure hunting and find stuff and flip stuff, and then you try to do it full time, it can definitely like drain you of the passion. If it becomes more of like you have to do this to make money to pay your bills, now it's not a fun hobby and it's like it's a job. It becomes a job for a lot of people. Just from like a mental space that I can tell, I think a lot of people would be happier doing just a regular job and reselling on the side than trying to be full-time resellers. And then also keep in mind, like for us, we make money other ways. We have YouTube income and affiliate income and mentoring income and real estate income, stocks. There's other ways that we make money outside of reselling. That being said, again, I still at least consider us full-time resellers because we do make a full-time income purely reselling. If we got rid of everything else that we're doing, we personally could still live off of the money that we make just from reselling, from selling stuff on eBay. I'm under a bridge, so I don't know how dark this video is right now, but it's more the audio that matters, so I'm gonna keep talking. Okay, so yeah, so that being said, I don't think that reselling full-time is the right avenue for most people, but I also personally don't think that going to college is the right avenue for the majority of people out there now, just because, you know, college fees are a lot higher. The amount of money people are making isn't what it used to be. It used to be if you got a college degree, you're kind of guaranteed a good job, making a lot more money than someone who didn't go to college. And I just don't feel like that is how it is anymore. So that being said, what are like the alternative options? That's the next thing I want to talk about, because if we do have people, you know, like if 18-year-old me was watching this video, that's what I'm trying to talk to me at 18, because when I was in high school, the high school that I went to, and the types of classes that I went to, and the guidance counselors that I talked to, everyone kind of looked down on me for saying that I didn't want to go to college. That was the norm. The norm was after high school, you go to college. Even like in high school, the classes that you take, for me, even in the structure that I was on, it's called college prep, right? The entire thing is to prep you to go to college. You take these certain classes so that you can get the correct GPA, so that you can get a good score on your SATs, so that you can get into a good college. It was called college prep to prepare you to go to college. And my entire high school career, I was fighting with my guidance counselors and my teachers, saying that's just, it doesn't have to, not everybody has to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, what if there's alternative options to that you guys aren't even talking about? You should at least tell the kids that there's other ways to do it if they don't want to go to college. So the things that I want to mention, there's military. That's an option. I have a lot of friends who went into the military after high school, and they're very successful now. It's a way to pay for your college too. Sometimes the military can pay for your college. I know a lot of people might be pro-military or against the military. I personally have the utmost respect for people who go into military service. If anybody's watching this video who is a military vet, thank you for your service. We appreciate it. But that is an alternate option to just purely go into college. And then there's other things that, I feel like this in particular needs to be taught more in high school. There's trades that you can go and do that will pay you a lot more money than going to college and getting a degree. You can do an apprenticeship and eventually get a really, really good job in a trade like plumbing or electrical, or AC repair is huge in Florida. All the AC guys that I know in Florida are making a ton of money. There's mechanics that are doing really, really well. So if you want to work with your hands and you don't want to just go to school forever and come out with a bunch of loans, you can go and try to get an apprenticeship and learn a trade. And there's a lot of really good money in being a plumber. There's a lot of really, really good money in doing that if that's what you want to do. And if you're passionate about it, then that's even better. So I feel like trade schools and apprenticeships are a really good alternative to traditional college or going to university. And then the other thing that I feel like is really left out, specifically in high school, for high school kids, is just like financial responsibility. It's very, very rare, or I don't know how it is now, but when I was in high school, it's very, very rare that a teacher will talk to you about like realistic financial stability or realistic financial skills, and even small things like filing your taxes the right way, how to do that, or not getting caught up in crazy credit card debt and how interest rates work and how like mortgage rates work. What's crazy to me, and you know, other people have said this, but what's crazy to me is that at 18 years old, right, you can't drink, you can't rent a car. There's things you can't do, but what you can do is get heavily in student loan debt that stays with you for the rest of your life. There is no escaping student loan debt. It never goes away. So that's wild to me, that you're letting an 18-year-old whose brain isn't fully developed. I think a male brain is fully developed at like 25 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And I think for females, on average, it's like 22 or 23. Girls are smarter than guys, for sure. But either way, you're letting children whose brains are not fully developed and who don't have life experience, who don't have guidance, and you're saying, hey, take this 6-figure loan that you have to repay back. And if you hate what you do, then you're stuck doing it. There's a lot of people who I know who are stuck in their jobs doing what they're doing purely because they're too scared to default on their loans, to go and find another job or go into a different field. They're stuck in their field trying to repay those loans. And I think that that is very, very unfortunate. And I think it's sad that in high school, kids are not taught alternative options. I think it should be mandated that college is one thing that is taught, but for 50% plus of people out there, there should be alternative options that are taught so that people know, you know, there's other ways to go about your life. That's my opinion. Again, nothing against people who have been to college. Like I said, Allie is educated. She has higher education. I've met a lot of good people who are doctors and lawyers who are very happy in their careers. I think that's great. I think obviously we need scientists, we need doctors, but we also need plumbers and electricians. And if that's something that you want to do, I don't think that you should be looked down on it, or you should be looked down for wanting to do something like that. And in the same way, like, I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to go into sales, and I was looked down on by my guidance counselors. They called my parents in and they were like, your son is making a big mistake. Luckily, my parents are nice enough and supportive enough, and I was taught entrepreneurship from a young age, where they told my guidance counselor, get lost, basically. Let him do what he wants to do. And thankfully, I didn't go to school. If I went to school, I would have been in a completely different position. I just kind of decided to get the real life skills instead, and I think I'm better off for it, for sure. So I think the whole point of today's Car Chronicles talk is kind of just I'm trying to talk to the younger people today. And maybe if you're older or more experienced and you have advice for younger people, please leave a comment. Tell us your experience. Give us some insights. Again, like I said from the beginning, I'm open to learning. I'm open to having discussions and changing my opinion on things 100%. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong. But to the younger people watching today's video, I just want you to feel encouraged that if you're thinking about doing an alternative option to just going to school and racking up debt, and you're looking at the system and you're going, this just doesn't feel right. I want you to know that I was in that same position as a kid. I decided to go an alternative route. Was it easy? Not at all. It was really, really hard. I had some of the lowest times of my life going through it, but I would not change it for anything in the world. That experience that I had turned me into the man that I am today. And I just want you to feel encouraged that if you are thinking about taking an alternative route in life, don't let other people discourage you in what you're doing. Stay true to your beliefs. Go through with what you're doing. Don't give in to the norm of graduating from high school, getting in debt, going to college, getting married, racking up more debt, buying a house, racking up more debt, and then just spiraling through life with debt and stress, and then dying broke and miserable. I know that's a really, really harsh way to put it, but sometimes it takes that to knock some sense into some people. Anyway, guys and girls, I think this is probably a good place to end it. But again, I just want to say thank you all so much for taking the time to watch today's video. Again, consider subscribing to the channel if you would like to support these type of videos or this type of content. And I love you all. Whatever you choose to do in life, I just hope that you are happy with what you're doing. Happiness is the most important thing. Find your happiness and stick to it. Money comes and goes, but happiness is what we all strive for. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Love you all. Later. Bye.